Let me ask you a question. Do you like puzzle games? Maybe platformers? Or maybe forcing people to collect their dues through the use of violence? Then do I got a game for you. Deadbolt, from the creators of Risk of Rain 1 and 2, came out in 2016 and only has 4,000 Steam reviews? That is just unacceptable. I gotta do my part to make sure this game gets the love it deserves. I mean, come on, it's only $9. You might be saying, Mooserdo, I don't have $9. Well, if this game teaches you anything, it's that even your soul comes at a cost. See, I'm currently buying a pistol with it. You know what you did to have your soul end up in my hands. Anyways, Deadbolt is about you, a Grim Reaper, trying to complete various missions such as killing drug lords, stopping turning people into drugs, burning drugs, learning about drug hideouts. There's a lot of drugs, okay? But there's a problem with being the Grim Reaper. Being made out of bones makes you extremely fragile, aka you die in one hit. With this in mind, you have to use various weapons and cheeky tactics to outsmart, outplay, and outgun the multitude of enemies you will meet along the way. If you don't, then well, you're in for a bad time. This blend of action and stealth makes for a great puzzle game where you will play out a perfect series of events like a ballerina who's practiced her dance to perfection. Although that first requires you to learn the dance, meaning with each level you gain more experience about how the game and enemies work. Although the always changing environments of houses, bars, clubs, etc. keep you constantly thinking on how to outplay those enemies, this ensures to keep you on your toes while they constantly introduce new enemies and crazy objectives. This is the main draw of Deadbolt. The gameplay of Deadbolt is a lot like I said, a puzzle, with each level being a different routine that you will create while playing the level. This will either end with you killing everyone stealthily, going guns a-blazing, or usually a mixture of both. While on paper it sounds easy enough, it isn't. Often you will find yourself redoing the same level until you have perfectly put everything into place. Luckily, you don't have to do all of this with just a starting revolver and a dream. There are tools a part of the levels, guns to buy, and strategies to use. Although, just like in math, what you do to one side, you do to the other. Meaning levels ramp up in difficulty through the use of new enemies, new objectives, and mechanics learned from previous levels. So why not we go over some of these useful aspects, while we shine some light onto the terrors that you will face in the darkness. Often used for traversing a level quickly, shooting up through someone's ass, being a mischievous little or hiding like a little bitch.
Can these guys leave? Go home. I don't want to see you anymore. Leave.
That should get them to leave. You will find yourself using vents to get yourself into or out of a situation. They are one of the core aspects of the level, as well as one of the most useful tools in the Reaper's arsenal. You pretty much can't win without them. Side note, later levels have locks on these vents that you have to open up. Used as a metaphor for new chances, these bad boys give the phrase, when opportunity comes knocking, a whole new meaning, as you will either wait until some unsuspecting enemy walks into their death.
On your man, homie. Ah, I tried to sneak through the door, man. Can't make it. Can't make it. The shit's stuck. Out of my way, son! Door stuck! Door stuck! Please! I beg you!
Or let yourself in like that uncle with no manners.
Woo! Let's party!
Darkness. Edgy, I know, but the absence of light is constantly used to lurk in the shadows, to take out enemies, or kill an enemy by punching one low on ammo. This also includes light switches. As they can be used to create temporary darkness you can stalk your prey in, or you could just shoot out the lights if that's more your speed. Finally, power boxes. Seen in a few levels, these cut power to the whole level for only a few seconds to make a dangerous play and get out, meaning if it's in the level, you're probably gonna need it. Cover. A foreign concept to Mooserdo, but can be pretty useful in anyone's playthrough, is cover. Whether it be couches, fridges, tables, dressers, TVs, prostitutes, cars, your mom, if there's a yellow outline and it isn't a weapon, you can dodge fire. only people on Twitter could do that. This mechanic can save you from shit that should definitely kill you, like, this shouldn't work. How the fuck? And my favorite, shouldn't you be dead? While it's not needed in your playthrough, and I sure as hell didn't use it, it's still an option. Oh shit, I'm out of weapons. What should I do? Oh, that's a very conveniently placed weapon that has my name on it. That's it. Besides the multitude of enemies found in the game, there are a few allies and NPCs who will help you progress the story. Some of them being spoilers to the game, which I won't show off here, and some of them being this f***ing cat. Let's go! I'm gonna name you the same as H.P. Lovecraft named his cat. Anyways, besides Lovecraft's absolute talent for naming animals, another important aspect of the game is your loadout. Now you might be asking, how do I purchase items for my loadout? Well, with the souls of the damned at the shopkeeper, of course. How else would you purchase it? With money? Pfft, how primitive. The souls required to purchase items can be collected by clearing levels and completing achievements. But what about the guns? While I won't explain what every gun does, I would like to go over my favorite and some recommendations in this game. The only thing ever guaranteed in life, death and taxes. Kicking it old school, the scythe. Instant death. Tactical shotgun. Bang, but quiet. Suppress shotgun. And just click heads, lol. Headhunter are some of my favorites. And those are just the ones you can buy. Some of the other guns you will pick up from dead corpses will become your favorite guns to use. For me, those awards go to the combat shotgun and the bolt action rifle. Just like any other game with guns, Deadbolt has enemies to shoot at. It'd be pretty weird if you just start up the game just to have it end instantly. Alright, time to play Deadbolt. I cannot wait to see what this game has to offer. Ayo, what the fuck? I'm getting off topic. What I mean by this is Deadbolt has a vast array of baddies that usually include some kind of melee, ranged, and brute. Although, unlike some games where they increase the difficulty by adding more health and damage to the base enemy, I'm looking at you, Terraria. Deadbolt continuously introduces new enemies with different quirks that you have to learn to play around. So if you could entertain my humor for a moment, I'll go over some of these interesting enemies in this game. Security camera. Bartender. I get knocked down, but I get up again. Phylactery. Sergeants. Dead or Alive's hit from 1985. Slave. And finally Val, who while not seen on screen, can be found in holy shit. A group of pixels does not have the right to be that hot. Hold on, give me a minute. You thought we were done talking about Deadbolt? We're just getting started! We still got this many minutes left. So let's talk about bosses. Besides the wide array of ghouls found in Deadbolt, there are also bosses. Or really I should say boss stages, because unlike other games where you get to face some big baddie that's really cool, Deadbolt includes these bullshit ass levels with some stupid shit like... Good afternoon folks, Matthew's about to spoil the game in this rant. So please, if you plan on buying the game, skip to... That being said, enjoy the rant. A 60-second countdown to do a level, and then fucking backup appears, breaking 7 glass bottles just to kill a woman, and dying to traps over and over again because some scared bitch-ass skeleton technician. Just to name a few. Although, besides all this bitching, the boss stages do put up a genuine challenge that forces your regular talent show dancing skills into a perfected Black Swan performance that will have you screaming and crying until you get it right. While there isn't and will never be any 3-hour lore essays written on this game, it still has a story that's more complicated than my 6th grade creative writing essays. with it pretty much going as follows. You are a reaper tasked by a fireplace, yes, the fireplace, to reap the souls of zombies, only to lead to you finding a drug called ash being used by said zombies. From this, it spirals out of control as you follow a trail that leads you up the ranks of the drug trade, battling all sorts of enemies to find out how the ash is created, and that it has a much bigger purpose than to overdose and end up as a zombie. While the story's not overly complicated, and doesn't really have any emotional weight like Celeste or Night in the Woods, I still enjoy that each level progresses the story with a reason for it to be there. There is no optional mission or side quest. It's more like, so you gotta go here because this McDonald's might have information on a vampire's fried chicken shop, which holds the secret to where the other... You get the point. Although I'm a man who likes a good story, I think the fact that the only thing that is complicated is the secret cassette tapes you can find, forces you to focus on being the best Reaper you can be, and makes it easy for people who want a straightforward game. In the end, the story almost makes you feel detached, like you're doing your regular 9 to 5, and while you don't realize it, it's the perfect way to make you feel separated from killing all these monsters who used to be people, showing that it's just business. I think if anyone became a video game character, they'd want a banging soundtrack to go with whatever was happening in the game. And oh boy does Deadbolt deliver. By presenting a chill and ominous vibe, sometimes front and center, sometimes lurking in the background like an actual hitman, it perfectly puts our Grim Reaper into musical notes. Don't believe me? Why don't I prove you wrong? And while some of them stray from this path, such as they all provide this feeling that something is not quite right, almost like someone is hiding in the shadows, and that someone is you, listening to these banger soundtracks while hiding in the vents. Too bad for me, I never got to recognize how good the music actually was. I was busy raging.
What do you mean, though? I killed him. Make sure you check the mission objective. Wow, thank you, game. I love you so much. I'm so glad that you do.
I've always been a fan of pixel art games. I'm that one friend, if you have it, who plays way too many indie games. And while I enjoy pixel art, it's not for everyone. Besides that, I enjoy the simple yet nostalgic feel of the designs, and it reminds me a lot of Risk of Rain. What I've found is sometimes less is more, although I wish some of the designs were a bit more complicated. But being serious, I do wish the models and backgrounds looked more like another indie game called Katana Zero, yet still in its own style. I know Katana Zero came out in 2019, but a man can dream to see a thick demon woman. With excellent yet frustrating gameplay, banging soundtrack, old pixelated art style, and a great price, it's a no-brainer that I enjoyed this game. If you got $10 and it seems interesting to you, then don't be afraid to give this game a shot. With that being said, my final rating is an 8 out of 10. While it's good, there are other games I've perceived to be better, and it feels like it's missing something. So much that I went to the negative reviews on Steam to see if I could make sense of this feeling. From it, I have gathered why I see this game as an 8 out of 10. While I haven't played either Hotline Miami or Gunpoint, the game lacks creativity. While there are multiple ways to approach a level, there's not a lot of options in the heat of the moment. What I mean by this is if you do something stupid and get killed for it, then deservedly so. But 70% of the time, you don't even realize you've made the mistake until you're dead. This can lead to playing a level for way longer than you need. With all that being said, I would like to take you back to my Black Swan point. As much as it's important to perfect your dance, the hours of practice can become useless if you turn Deadbolt into a rage game. And it can often become that if there's no one to help you, so it feels like you're continuously hitting a brick wall and not making any progress. We killed him, bro. We did it. Only 34 deaths. I believe that this is the main downside of Deadbolt, and if they ever make any future games, they should address this problem. Otherwise, it's an absolute baller of a game. And if I haven't convinced you yet, maybe the fact that Jacksepticeye played it can. Huh? Did it work?